As I'm sure you can tell by the title of this video and the thumbnail, this is not our usual programming by any means. If this is a subject that you don't want to watch any content about, especially on this channel, that is totally fine. I completely understand. And I just want you to know that this will be our first and last video on this subject. Now, I just want to start off by saying that I'm not making this video as a Democrat. I'm not making this video as a Republican. I'm not making this video as a political commentator. I'm not even making this video as a legitimate Charlie Kirk supporter by any means, but what I am making this video as is an American, just like a lot of you who watch this channel. But one thing that Charlie and I for sure did agree upon, and I hope you do as well, was his right to be able to share those opinions with others and challenge others' ideas as well as be challenged himself. America became what it is because people from all walks of life, ethnicities, social backgrounds, you name it, all the differences that you could think of when it comes to different groups of people. America is supposed to be a place where no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what you look like, no matter what you do for work, what your parents did for work, you can come to a place, you're allowed to hold on to your culture, you're allowed to have your own ideas, even if the person across the street from you doesn't, and it is a safe space for you to be able to express those things and have whatever ideals that you consider important. Now, it's no secret that over the past 10 years or so, that landscape has begun to change. America has started to become a place where you have to really think about if you want to share your opinions, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. And when a country starts to get to that point, things start to happen like what we saw today. On both the left and the right side of the aisle, politicians, systems in power have weaponized those differing opinions for a lot of Americans. This idea that if somebody voted a different color than you, they are your enemy. All of the problems that you deal with in your day-to-day life is because that person over there voted for whoever, or they believe in whatever system that you don't believe in. Everything that is wrong with your life is because of that person over there. There are organizations and people out there that are pushing that narrative for their own benefit. And when people just intake that without any questions, without any critical thinking, without having the ability or the want to question the things that are being told to them, what happened today is what culminates from that. The reality is, if we look back all throughout history, countries that get to this place of disagreements are dangerous. It never ends up well for anybody. Now, whether or not you agree or disagree with Charlie's political stances, the truth is, at the end of the day, he was an American, he was a husband, and he was a father. And if there is any part of you that feels like him having those ideas or those opinions justified what happened today, I hope you can really do some reflection as a human being. I understand a lot of Americans are frustrated right now, and when people are frustrated and they feel helpless, they're looking for somebody to blame. But as an American, just like most of you watching this video, I can promise that 999 times out of 1,000, the problems you're dealing with in your life are not because of the other Americans across the street. It's not because your neighbor voted for somebody else. There is a political crisis brewing in America, and with today's situation, that's only going to get worse. There are radical voices and ideas on both sides of the spectrum, but when things like today happen, those voices are only going to get louder. If there's a part of you that feels like what happened today is going to silence a narrative that you don't like, or maybe discourage some people from feeling the way that they do, if you're an American, you understand when things like this happen, Americans don't tend to get quiet. Americans don't tend to shy away. If anything, this has just taken everything up another level. America does not grow as a community or as a nation when we as a people are looking across the street to people that may have voted for different politicians or may have different ideas about the best life to be lived, and seeing those ideas and those people as our enemies. There is a very specific, very small group of people in power in America that all they want is for you to keep pointing the finger across the street, because what does that do? That keeps you from pointing the finger at them. These narratives and these ideas manifest for a reason. The tried and true way, we have seen it all throughout history for a government to keep its people silenced and keep its people looking the other way when the government is doing things that are making your life harder, is to give those people another enemy to focus on. You aren't struggling to buy eggs or pay your rent because your neighbor across the way has a sign in their front yard for a different politician than you voted for. And no matter where you land on this spectrum, lashing out at your fellow Americans, doing things like this in cold blood, these aren't the ways to solve the problems that America has as a country right now. There's been a narrative created over the past decade or so, and I really bought into it until I started traveling to some other countries. And that narrative is that America is just this terrible place. America has done nothing right. America's history is nothing but negativity, oppression, you name it. Now, does America have problems? Are there things that we need to figure out as a country? Absolutely. But that is just how the world works. We're all human. That is a saying for a reason. Nowhere is perfect, and that includes Americans. But one thing that has always been true when it comes to America as a country and its people, when we are all looking in the same direction, when all Americans are looking at one goal and we want to achieve that goal no matter what, or we need to do it to make sure that our friends and family are safe, there is nothing that America as a country and as a people cannot do. This is the one thing that has made America the great place that it is. It is the thing that America was founded on. Violence against your fellow compatriots, your fellow Americans, is never going to solve these problems. And until we find a way to all unite against our real enemy, these problems are not going to go away. If we continue to try to take this route, things are only going to get worse. To all my fellow Americans watching, I hope you have a safe and wonderful rest of the week. And just know that even if you and I disagree on every single political stance there could be, if you and I always vote against each other, no matter what, I would do everything in my power to protect that right for you. I would always give you a safe place to express those opinions, and there are plenty of other Americans out there who feel the same way. And if we start to lose sight of this, then the real problems begin. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.